YouTube, hello. This is Evospace, and I'm not going to review it. I am going to tell you some things about the game, show you some of the gameplay, what I've created in the time that I spent in it, and I'll let you make your own decisions based off of what you see there. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Evospace is an indie voxel automation game, in my opinion. It was actually released on February 14th, 2019, so quite a few years ago now into early access. It is still in early access now, but it is currently still being worked on as well. The last update that I saw was on January 27th, 2024, so a little less than a month ago. It's being produced by Round Cube Studio, and it does come in at a relatively cheap price, at least for me here in the US, which would be $14.99. I'm going to go through a couple of the options with you. I'm going to load up my base and show you what I created and a little bit of how things work in the game. There's some cool tricks you could actually do as well. And then at the end, I will let you make your decision on whether or not you think it is worth your time. And let's get right to it. Alright, so I did stream with the same settings that I am using today when I was playing the game. As far as the graphics settings, there's quite a few different options that you have. I will leave my FPS up in the top corner. That is consistently just running. That is the Steam overlay for FPS, just in case you have any questions. There are a few game settings, not a ton. You do have your choice of audio settings and levels, and then as well as most keybinds can be respec'd as well. One of the other options that I wanted to show you is when you actually create a new world. It does load up a map of what your surrounding area is going to look like. And then there are a couple of options here as well. The generator options are the ones that I think are the most interesting personally. You can start with your rivers and isles. You can actually go down to plains and coasts. I'm pretty sure this is the option that I took when I selected my map today. They do have rocky islands as well, which I suspect from the map here would have more elevation. And then there's actually a concrete world. If you just want a perfectly flat space to build in, this would be the place you want to go to. I'm going to go and actually load my save from the stream that I did today, and we'll get into that now. So, when you actually load into the game for the first time, you are given nothing but a little multi-tool to dig around with. You will come across copper ore and other things on the surface. There's even aluminum ore. You can mine this with your multi-tool. You can actually mine things like the grass, and that will give you dirt and other items that you'll see popping up on the left side of the screen over there. The other thing that you have to dig, or you have to mine some up in the beginning, is things like trees. That'll give you some basic wood to start with. I will say, I think the intro to the game does need some help, because I don't believe it really does it justice. They do have a how to play style tutorial, which will give you a little blurb about what they're showing you a picture of, and then there are different pictures for the different things. I don't personally think that's enough, and after the first hour or two, I was honestly almost ready to give up. I am really glad that I kept going though, because I was able to build something that I think is actually really cool. The world graphics, as you can see, there are trees and grass and different things. You can hear birds in the background, and there's some music going. I do think the sound's a little intense at times, but it's pretty immersive. It's there in the background, doesn't detract me from the game, also doesn't, pull me too much away from it. The graphics of the world, like I said, are passable. The machines and some of the factory parts that you get to are things that I think are really sweet. Specifically, some of these, they call them copper robot arms. You'll actually see them pull things out of machines and kind of use a little gear wheel on the bottom to crank and slide things over. The things that did get me to continue playing the game, one of which is the tech tree. It is pretty expansive, as you can see. There is quite a lot to it. Some of the interesting things about it as well is Each technology within the tree doesn't just have one level and you're done with it. A lot of them will have multiple levels, like this is 1 out of 7. And then for each level of the tech tree that you research, you get up to a higher tier of the machine that you were looking at building. There are also different power systems that you'll have to deal with. One of which you could see below these furnaces is heat piping is something you have to transport to different machines. Another power system they use is electricity, which there are wires to transport the electric current. And actually the Stirling machine transfers the heat energy into kinetic energy. The electricity is separate. There are copper cables here that use compact generators to transfer heat energy into electric energy, and there's a lot of other options with all of that as well. I do like that there are visual indicators for a lot of your power systems as well. The heat that you see coming off of these heat pipes actually makes, an appearance on the screen. And then if they're not on and they're disconnected, you can see that they're not storing energy just by looking at them. One of the other things about these is if you do open the menus, they go into pretty expansive details about what your production rates are, how much you have stored, giving you charts for production and consumption over time. Again, with the game not telling you a lot in the beginning, it doesn't actually even tell you how to open a chest by hovering over the item or anything like that. I did have to figure that out. It's right-clicking will let you open a chest. And then I'm checking my list to make sure I want to hit everything that I see. So, a couple of the other things that I think is really cool in Evospace is you have the option to build, and you can rotate your buildings, and like you normally would in most games. The other options you're given, though, are that you can rotate along the other axis, and this continues to work, regardless of the orientation that you put your building in. So if we put something down here, like setting the output on this line where it sends everything forward, it's actually going to steal stuff there. So this is not a great demonstration. This does work. Let me put a box down. That's an easier way to do it. We craft a stone chest. Looking things, craft them there. I will open the stone chest and put iron ingots into it. That seems fine. Then you place your robot arm, is what they call it. I'm actually going to place this upside down just for the sake of it. Just to show you that you can. And I think it's interesting that you can. It'll automatically place it right on the belt. And it will continue to travel along the path of a belt no matter what way you orient them, actually. This actually works with machines as well. And I was literally able to put part of my factory on a ceiling. I originally was making a platform because I was going to move things up and build a production level on top of this platform. And I was actually, I think, told by chat that I was able to do this. I thought it was really, really cool. It does start out a little bit slow. You do mine minerals by hand in the beginning. Eventually, you get what these are called copper drilling rigs. They let you pull resources out of the ground. And that really levels up your automation quite a bit. Our movement systems to get around. What I just did is something I actually found after stream. They have different types of jetpacks. At least the ones I've seen so far do not let you fly. But they will give you a boost after you touch the ground. You cannot boost more than once. But it does help you get from one side of your factory to the other quite rapidly. Something to expect as you go through the game is there are different ways to produce different materials as well. One of the examples I would like to give you is if you look at an iron ingot. You can middle click on something to open it on a window like this. It'll tell you what the iron ingot can go into, and it'll tell you what type of machines to use for that. what it combines with. All of your production numbers are here. It also tells you what makes the iron ingot. And this is what really gets interesting to me. You can go from your basic iron ore into an iron ingot, or if you process the iron ore in an automatic hammer, it will make an impure ore gravel. If you process the impure ore gravel through a machine called a macerator or macerator, it will make impure ore dust, and you can actually process that into an iron ingot as well. The different machine or the different processes have different reasons along the different tech trees and things like that. But there is a lot of different options that you get with your recipes in this game, and I think it's pretty cool. There are renewable sources of power as well, so you don't need to rely on farming anything by hand for very long. And then pretty much after that, it is up to you to what you want to create. It is a really chill automation game. There are no enemies coming at you. You're not worried about survival. There's no hunger bar or anything like that. I don't know what the plans are for the game going forward, but I'm going to spend more time in the game, and I'm definitely excited about what it's got coming. So that is kind of my baseline on what the game looks like, what it sounds like. The audio, I think, is really cool. You can make your own decisions on that. I do intend to spend more time in this game. That does sort of feel like a lot sometimes. When there are 5 different ways to get to iron ore, it is a lot to determine which one you want to take, or which one you want to take to get there. But I think that is part of the fun of it. If you liked this not a review style of review or gameplay example, feel free to give a like to the video, subscribe down below because I do intend to do more of these games. Let me know what you think would improve this style of video down below in the comments as well. And then if you want to see me playing more games and checking out more content, I do have a link to a Twitch page or another YouTube channel where I'm actually doing a Let's Play of a game called Tectonica. We'll see you next time and have a great day.